Good morning, class, or good afternoon if you're logging in at night. Today we are going to start our unit on classifying matter. Specifically, we are looking at whether or not objects will sink or float. Our TEK for today is 3.5a, and our objective, it says, I will test and record an object's ability to sink or float. So moving on, if you were here with me in class, which unfortunately we're not, then you would have baggies with these items in them. So let me go over them with you. In our first bag here, we have a dry crayon, and I know it's a little hard to see on the picture, but we also have a wet crayon. So the wet crayon has been soaking, but the dry crayon has not. So we have two different crayons. One is wet and one is dry. In bag number 2, we have a ping pong ball. A ping pong ball is very light. It's made out of plastic. It's very easy to hold. It won't throw very far because of how light it is, but it is it doesn't have very much weight to it. The second object is a golf ball. Now, a golf ball actually has a metal on the inside of it, so it's a lot heavier than our ping pong ball. Then it's covered with a white enamel around it. So it'll fly pretty far, but it's also very hard, and it has a lot more weight to it than our ping pong ball does. In our third bag, we have two different types of paper clips, or clothespins, I'm sorry. So the two different types of clothespins we're looking at are plastic and wooden. Both are meant to do the same thing, but they're made of different materials. And it's the different materials that can change whether or not the object will sink or float. In bag number 4, we have the same thing, except for with paper clips. We have plastic paper clips, and we have metal paper clip. So again, same as bag number 3. They're made to do the same thing, to hold papers together, except for they're made of different materials. So what happens when we put a plastic paper clip in the water compared to when we put a metal paper clip in the water? We're going to find out. In bag number 4, we have a glass marble and a wooden bead. Again, both are in the shape of a ball, and they're about the same size as each other. They're both very small and spherical, but the glass marble has a lot more weight to it, and a different material being glass. So the question is, does this sink or float? The wooden bead is a lot lighter than our glass marble is, and it's made out of wood compared to glass. So there begs the question, what would happen to the wooden bead? Will it sink or float? And then in our last bag, we have two different types of rulers. One is made of wood and one is made of plastic. Both are 12 inches long, so they are the same size. They are meant for the same thing. They are just made out of different materials. So today, your job is to give me your hypothesis about whether or not they will sink or float. So next to the dry crayon, you're going to type sink or float. Remember, a hypothesis is an educated guess. So you're giving me your best guess on what's going to happen to these objects. Now, you can't be in presentation mode when you do this, so let me exit out of that. Next to each object, so I'm next to the dry crayon, you will click on it and type what you think will happen. So if I say I think the dry crayon will sink, I will type sink. If I think it's going to float, I will type float. But you have to tell me your hypothesis for all of our objects and what you think is going to happen. We'll find out for sure tomorrow.